Breaking news. Breaking news. United States Attorney General Merrick Garland is corrupt. Fails in his duties. Now, as you all know, I am the petitioner of the Constitution's checks and balances. Petition when the entire branch of government is corrupt, and this being the judicial branch of government. As you see, sent to the President of the United States at the White House. That's right. There you go on, get it up close to checks and balances. Date January 28th, 2021. And a transfer of power. Now, for those that don't know, the Constitution checks and balances are petitioned when the entire branch of government is corrupt, and this being the United States Supreme Court, the judicial branch of government. Now, due to this transfer of power, as you see, as they fail in their duties, the Constitution checks and balances empowers the citizen. I'm that man, Veteran Jesha Miller. Yeah. So, as we look at the checks and balances in the U.S. government, why we need them and how they work, as you will see that right there. Now, without the system of checks and balances, there will be a constant struggle between the President, Congress, and the Supreme Court. It is natural that each part of government would try to expand their powers. You saw what Donald Trump did, expand his powers. Government powers are limited. He went beyond the limit. Now, Congress will start making laws to make it more powerful. The President will use his power on the armed forces to gain influence, as you see. Donald Trump did that, okay? Now, and the Supreme Court will cut deals with Congress by using its power to judge court cases. Now, you might argue that no respectable politician would try unjustly gain more power, but this is not true. And as the public knows, in reality, politicians are corrupt. We call them crooked. So, this is the reality of it. Now, one law in the system of the checks and balances is the law that allows citizens to challenge any law that they feel is unjust. Once the law that they don't like is passed, they can challenge it and bring the law to court. The law is then debated between a lawyer representing the law and the plaintiff. This guy representing the law is none other than United States Attorney General Merrick Garland. Now, as I see over here, the mission of the Office of Attorney General is to supervise and direct administration and operations of the 40 components comprising the Justice Department. The principal duties of the Attorney General are represent the United States in legal matters. Now, that is where we're telling you it's a showdown. This is another level of government. When the government is corrupt, they must be held accountable. That's why they call it checks and balances. They have to be checked. Now, it will be between myself, the citizen, the petitioner of the Constitution checks and balances, and because they crooked, then it empowers the citizen. And as I said, Merrick Garland is a no-show. If you can't come out for the third round, Muhammad, I'll tell you, throw them hands up because I'm the winner. Now, as in the petition, publicly acknowledge, I, Jesha Miller, as the petitioner of the Constitution checks and balances, I'm empowered to uphold the integrity of the Constitution, having irrefutable evidence the entire judicial branch of government is corrupt. If you've been following me, you would have seen that the United States Attorney General Merrick Garland is a no-show, and then the president, the buck stops with the president. And as you saw in the previous videos, Merrick Garland ain't addressed these checks and balances. He was supposed to advise the president of his duties under Article 2, Section 3, to faithfully see to it that the federal laws are executed. That's not been done. As we read in here, I said publicly acknowledge this. Let's get a little bit close up on that one. But I got it on still frame so y'all can read it publicly. Now, I'm executing my First Amendment right to speech press. Understand what I said, because everybody already, First Amendment right to free speech. No, it's more to it than that. Because you got, first of all, let me read this and you will understand this is to expose corrupt government officials. The purpose of the speech press clause has evidently been to protect parties in the free publication of matters of public concern, to secure their right to a free discussion of public events and public matters, and enable every citizen at any time to bring the government and any person in authority to the bar of public opinion by any just criticism upon their conduct in the exercise of the authority which the people have conferred upon them. The evils, listen, the evils to be prevented were not the censorship of the press merely. You see, the press can't censorship. They can't make no decision. They can't decide whether or not they want to put this on or whether they don't want to put this on. This goes on. What they call guaranteed rights. This is a guaranteed right of we the people to expose government corruption. But any action of the government by means of which it might prevent such free and general discussion of public matters when the United States Supreme Court is corrupt, it's a public matter. When they are not protecting our right to freedom, it's a public matter. When there is oppression upon the people, it is a public matter. When the police is shooting blacks in the streets, unarmed, you are seeing them choking and all this other kind of stuff that's riding up, killing a man in front of his family. You didn't see the catastrophes that have went on with the police. Caught on camera because they had to wear cameras, they still doing it. So, now, to stop this, but any action by the government means it must prevent such free and general discussion of public matters seems absolutely essential. The checks and balances are essential to prepare the people for an intelligent exercise of their rights as citizens. Now, being the petitioner of the Constitution's checks and balances, if you saw any of this stuff on YouTube or Twitter, I plainly state, and if you can just Google up my name, it will tell you I am empowered. I had a power to stop police brutality. I am empowered to stop inequality. So all of those talking about Black Lives Matter, well, you need to do some digging and you need to holler at me to stop police brutality. I am empowered to stop police brutality. But this has been concealed by the media when it sit there and told you, as I just read to you, the First Amendment, that's an evil by the media thinking they got the right to censor something when this is government corruption. You don't get to censor that. When the United States Supreme Court is corrupt, you don't get to censor that. it's a public matter and the public must know. And as I said, the United States Attorney General Merrick Garland has concealed this. That's a criminal act. He does this in conspiracy with the president because he was supposed to tell the president with law enforcement. And that's Title 18, Section 241, conspiracy against rights. This is our First Amendment, so he's working against the rights. That's a criminal act also. So, the bust the bubble. Yeah. And how far that goes is Billy Bowden, Evansville police chief, and his assistant Phil Smith were called to execute these indictments. They refuse to do it. See, they doing whatever they want to do, and they don't get to do that. Those are criminal acts. Law enforcement part in the system is to carry out these, execute the indictments and the arrests. Everybody ever been arrested, law enforcement had arrested them. But all of a sudden now, that is Janet Yellen, that is Nancy Pelosi, that is Senator Todd Young, that is Senator Mike Braun, that is Congressman Larry Bouchon. They don't want to do their job because that's a part of the corruption. That's what you call white supremacy, where they violate your rights and not held accountable. So the police had to be in cahoots with them for them to do that. Why are they doing that? Why the media is not covering this? Because they know the police is not going to arrest them. Makes kind of sense, don't it? And when I just read you, they don't get to do that. That's a criminal act. That's a guaranteed right of we the people. That's how we expose government corruption. And so I'm going to hit you with this one more time. And as I show you, it's time for a showdown between veteran, I was out there protecting all Americans' right to freedom, justice, and equality. So it's only befitting that now I make a stand. I am the man, Veteran Jesha Miller versus United States Attorney General Merrick Garland. And he's a no-show. So, there it is. Yeah. Now, when the United States Supreme Court takes the freedom of a man unjustly in violation of the Constitution and the laws of the United States, you petition Habeas Corpus. Now here it is, there it is, United States Supreme Court once again. So, petition entitled to injunctive relief for my immediate release from the illegal imprisonment with reparations, that's money, man, from judgment of the proceedings in the Indiana Vandenberg Circuit County Court that was so lawless that imprisonment pursuant to them is void, and therefore res judicata is inapplicable in a habeas corpus proceeding. The imprisonment cannot be shown to conform with the fundamental requirements of due process. There it is right there. Now, as I said, the United States Supreme Court is doing this now. You think they doing it because it's a black man. But one of you poor billies get caught up and you'll find out they do it to white people too. All right, and for the rich white people, I know y'all want this First Amendment because the media is taking that over under pretense. What I just read you, they can't do that. See, they can do what they want to do except for in these situations of major concern. Now, when the government is corrupt, that's of major concern. When your freedom is involved, it's of major concern. You understand me? Now, as I said, I'm going to show you again. Reiterate. Petitioner required judiciary to account for a man's imprisonment. The judiciary or the justices of the Supreme Court, which must review and give judgment affirming or reversing the conviction, because as I read to you, as already been done, res judicata is inapplicable in a habeas corpus proceeding. The imprisonment cannot be shown to conform with the fundamental requirements of due process. Yeah. So, as I showed you before, the trial transcripts here saying, I'm David Kiley. Now, this Judge David Kiley. At this point, there are no black people in the jury. There were no black people in the jury panel. I'm going to hold it right there because I want to get you some common sense. If it ain't no black people in the jury panel, it ain't no black people to pick from, so it ain't going to be no black people on the jury. I'm just saying, don't act like I'm stupid when the judge try to do this to me. That's imposing slavery. Now, we have a right to object to that. I can tell you that I don't believe the law will support it. He's already been told that the law won't support it. Now, we go on over here further. By that I mean I don't think Indiana's in full compliance with the federal government voter registration law. As a result of that, we don't get a fair cross-section in the veneer. And as a result of that, my client's rights under the federal and the state constitution to a fair and impartial jury as mandated, as mandatory by the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment violates due process. Then you took my freedom. That's in violation of the 13th Amendment, prohibiting slavery, because a man's freedom cannot be taken when you violate due process. That's a part of it. The 13th and the 14th Amendments. That's how that's done. How he's talking about they doing slavery? That's how it's done. It's due process. If they don't do the right process, they violate your due process, the 14th Amendment. Then they take your freedom. That's prohibited. That's called imposed slavery. And you're wondering why I'm supposed to get $6.75 billion. They ain't trying to do the right thing, so don't nobody cry no tears. Now, as we go down further, the judge already been told that the federal and the state constitution to a fair and impartial jury as mandated by the 14th Amendment through the federal legislation, I think that's been violated. Judge David Kiley knew it was violated. That's violating rights under color of law, another criminal act, Title 18, Section 242. That's when the officials do that. He said, show it overruled. There is a violation, Your Honor, as I said. And he said, show it overruled, sir, okay? We're going to start. That's imposing this upon me. We're going to start. He's in there and he's the judge. I'm the defendant. He going to say we going to start anyway. Come on, y'all. Oh, pay attention to what he just did. The federal and the state constitution, what he overruled. That's a criminal act, I told you it was. There it is in black and white. So why ain't Merrick Garland showed up? Because he know he get blasted out by the water. You know what I'm saying? It don't look good on his resume that a black man come up off the streets and tow him up a new one. And yeah, stop inequality, stop social injustice, and stop police brutality. That's what they want to keep doing. I'm just saying, and as I showed you, like I said, the United States Supreme Court, in the dereliction of duty, they had to check the records, and the records say what the transcripts just said, calls for my immediate release. That's why the United States Attorney General Merrick Garland ain't showed up, ain't told the public, and as I said in all of mine, go public. Let the public know. See, there's a reason beside that, because as long as they keep it in the dark, well, they get away with the corruption and the evil. But we go public and we bring it to the light, then it comes to fruition. Then I'm exonerated from any kind of crime y'all talking about I did because I did nothing. And at the same time, for what y'all did to me, continued oppression when it started off at $50 million and it went to $6.75 billion. That in itself lets you know they have no intentions to concede to the demands of the Constitution, and that for that reason, once again, the president ain't addressing the Constitution's checks and balances, as I said, petitioned to the President of the United States. So, yeah, bust the bubble, because it's been one. And while they was trying to play around, trying to conceal this from the public, the president, your number one duty, Article 2, Section 3 of the Constitution, to take care that the federal laws are executed. And here he is, Constitution, concealing it, not executing the law. See, it's got to be a showdown. The Judicial Branch got to be checked. When I come in and present this evidence, they empowers me to stop inequality. That's so important. Now we're going to balance it out. We're going to stop inequality. We're going to stop social injustice. And we're going to stop police brutality for sure. 4 scores ago. Should have been done. So, here we have it. The United States Attorney General Merrick Garland is corrupt, violates the law, is a criminal in his actions, and he been indicted too. So why ain't the news told you about all of that? Once again, I told you, to have a government cover-up, the media had to been on it, concealing it from the public. Come on now. And the COVID-19 is a conversion. Diversion, smoke screen. So y'all looking over here while they try to get away with it. Oh, come on now. All right, NBA, NFL, all y'all talking about, y'all got to stop the hating and racism and all that on the back of your helmets. You got it on your jerseys and all of that. Well, give me a platform, because it's my time. It's your time. And I'm that man, Veteran Jesha Miller, served to protect the Constitution. I'm here to uphold the integrity of the Constitution. It's showtime, and they didn't show up. Automatic winner, chicken dinner, little Ray, tell them about it, yeah. And $6.75 billion. Yeah, and that means that blacks will have more opportunities, more jobs, more banks to get more loans. The poor people will be helped out. We'll have places for them. And, hey, that's all for the betterment of mankind. And this is what they don't want, and this is what they trying to hide. Yeah, CBS, Wendy A. McMahon, she was supposed to do this yesterday. She got the email, give coverage. Where's my national coverage? National coverage. When we talking about the entire judicial branch of government is corrupt, it's over. Vince Carter, slam dunk, baby. Yeah. And Walter, tell them good night. And that's the way it is. Tuesday, January 25th, 2022. And as I say, HG, twin, showtime, baby. Let's get it on. Yeah, and, student protest for the president to do his duty. This is his number one duty, and guess what? To the magnitude of it, he don't do this, he gets impeached. Y'all heard it right here first. Walter Cronkite told you. Yes, sir. Let's get it on.